Thank you guys so much for taking the time to come out. Hope everyone had a great weekend who's out there listening in. We have Unrekt Protocol joining us today. JM is speaking on behalf of the team, and they have their Unrekt token launching on Ethereum coming up July 1st. The DApp is already live, and again, they've been seeing some pretty cool returns on their staking, their test staking that's been going on in there. We'll jump into kind of what that entails, how the holders of Unrekt are able to benefit of the growth, the adoption of the protocol, and again, what Unrekt is really all about. It's very unique in the sense that it allows users and traders to gain access and trade within locked liquidity assets. I love the kind of explanation and example William gave me when we were chatting in our lead up, and I'll kind of use that to simplify for everybody listening in today before I pass the mic to JM. So, picture you have a $100 gift card, right? And that gift card is not going to become available for a year, but you need the money or you need to make a purchase from the store, next week. So you need the cash. What do? You go up and you can put that gift card for sale. Obviously in this situation, it's locked liquidity via contracts, but you could put it up on the protocol and somebody could bid, $80 for a $100 gift card. So you get your $80, you get some cash for whatever it is you need now, and then they get access to that $100 gift card. So they pay the 80, and then in return, they're going to get a 20%, additional bonus, I guess 25% on what they paid on the back end, right? So that's kind of your return, that's your profit. So just easy way to break that down and simplify it for everybody in terms of how it works. Obviously it's crypto. I like to throw things a little bit more real life to connect home with people. We'll tie into how it works on the blockchain with, the protocol, the auction process and everything for us today. But yeah, really cool. I'm curious to see kind of how the longevity aspect plays in as well. If there's the ability for people who potentially purchase that liquidity, even push and sustain or maybe even relaunch or rebrand out a project or community that was previously successful. So a lot of different layers to that. And I'm excited to kind of break them down with everybody in our community, the Unrekt community here live today. So JM, thank you so much for joining us. I'll throw you the mic if you want to introduce yourself and the team in a bit more detail.
All right. So it was really nice and yeah, pretty simple way to explain what we do with that gift card example. So yes, of course. So I'm JM. Okay, I'm in charge of everything that is related to operations and product in Unrekt Protocol. Here we also have part of the team, which is Juan, which is the core developer, and William, who is the person in charge of marketing and all the partnerships that we're working on. So yeah, I will add a little bit more of a spice of what you said, and what I would say it's if you think the size of the market, if you think the size of how many projects launch every single day in the crypto space, it's several thousands of them. Okay, when you launch a token project or whatever, usually what you do is you lock liquidity. Okay, when you lock liquidity, you say, okay, I'm gonna lock 10 ETH, okay, for 1 year or 2 years or 2 weeks or whatever. Okay, so for a period of time, you lock that liquidity. If your project fails, that's one of the examples, but let's use the example of your project is failing. Okay, there's no volume, there's nothing. You need to wait until the date of the unlocked to get access to that liquidity. So what we do is we unlock that liquidity. We allow the owner of that LP, that liquidity pool, to sell that liquidity pool in with our protocol in our platform. Okay, so you sell that at a discount, you get the money at the moment, and the buyers, who is people who is not bothered to wait until the date of the unlock. It could be a week, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. You are just literally buying crypto at a discount, because at the moment of the unlock, you get the money that is inside the liquidity pool. As simple as that. Everything is under control of the protocol. There's nothing you can do as a seller if you're a scammer or anything. You can get back you can recover the ownership of that. Nothing like that. Everything's super clear in our contract. Everybody can see that. It's public, and it works like a charm. The most important thing about this is that we support crowdfunding. So we don't need to have a buyer with all the money to buy an LP. Okay, that is simple, super simple. You don't even need a protocol to do that, right? You just contact the owner, you pay, you get the ownership, that's it. Our protocol supports the functionality that if you want to sell your 10 ETH LP in our platform, okay, you can grab 100 people who is going to buy a portion of that, and the moment everything gets filled, you as a seller get the money, and the owners of the buyers, they become the owners of a share of that LP. At the moment of the unlock, they get the funds, they get tokens, and that's it. Okay. In the meantime, the ownership of the protocol, it's going to be under Unrekt Protocol. Our protocol is going to be the owner of that. So there is no way to access or to touch that from the outside. Is that clear for you?
But it is, and like again, I love that you guys are giving the ability, because I'm sure everybody in here that's listening probably has an example of a project they're in, maybe something that they were even pushing pretty hard themselves. Maybe they even onboarded some friends, some people within their network, and a couple days, a week, a couple weeks later, potentially, all of a sudden things have kind of died out, right? And then all of a sudden you have all those people coming back to you like, yo, bro, why'd you get us into this project when it's dead, right? So I just know the stress that sometimes that comes with, and I'm sure everybody has an example where they felt, for lack of a better terms, trapped within a project. So the fact that, they don't feel like they have to have the full, the example that I know it was kind of used, it's just nice round numbers. They don't have to have the 7 ETH in the example if it's 10 ETH put in all themselves, which can be quite a lot of money depending on where ETH's sitting on the week. That's really cool, because if you have a large community, if you're sitting at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 holders, well, you don't need a large percentage. Even a small group of people who really believe in the project or even want to try and get a percentage of their money back because they felt that they were duped or taken advantage of. It's like, it's then becomes a numbers game and a conversation about the mathematics and, how much did you put in, how much you're going to get back on the liquidity. And, if it makes sense to secure, a return on what you've put in and at least get a portion of your money back, like it's kind of like in the sense a no-brainer that, like, why not get back 20% of what we lost or 15% of what we lost versus just taking the L, right? So
yeah, it will always depends of how well. We are not gonna say what is the price, okay, the selling price. That is up to the seller to say this is what I want. Okay, we're going to list that, and if it gets sold, good. If not, maybe you need to lower the price. And there are a lot of factors that are affecting, for example, the size of your LP, how long will it take to reach the unlock date. It's not gonna work the same even if you have, I don't know, let's put an example. Okay, you have 10 ETH, okay, that is going to be unlocked in a year. The value is not the same as if those 10 are going to be unlocked in 2 weeks, right? Which opens a secondary market, right? Because when you buy something with us, when you buy shares of an LP, you get a token. We issue an ERC20 token, and that's the token that is linked to that portion of the LP. Okay, you can keep trading that. You can transfer that. You can sell that. So maybe you buy something today. You need to wait a year until the unlock date. But in 6 months, you can sell that because the value is going to be higher because you need to wait less time, okay, to get that money. So there are more opportunities. That is what we call the secondary market. And talking about market, if we think, again, maybe I'm repeating myself, but the size of the market, it's like thousands and thousands of projects gets launched every single day. And more than 95%, 99%, I would say, they fail. All that is all locked liquidity there. It's money sitting there just waiting for the unlock time. And what we are trying to do is to bring that back to life.
Yes, like the kind of the flip side of the equation of the conversation around that is, well, some of these people who launch or deploy these contracts are kind of notorious or like serial deployers, right? So maybe the appetite from the community to support them or give them like 5 or 7 or whatever that the price may be, ETH, like people may not want to give that person the funding, right? And be like, you know what, fuck it. If they're gonna not try or just let the project die, let our funds go essentially to dust, like why are we going to give them 5 ETH versus make them wait the year to have the funds, right? So that's kind of the conversation. I'm curious like how you guys internally are branding and pushing this so that people are really trying to support the process of make it about the profit and the potential to maybe revive some of those versus, well, why are we giving those people who are kind of letting projects die a benefit, right? And a benefit early versus making them have to wait. So how do you guys plan, or like what's the conversation been like internally on how you guys deal with that like pushback or negativity people may bring into the space? Because it's not me saying that. I like what you guys are doing. I like that people are going to be able to potentially earn back a percentage of what they've lost. But there's always going to be those negative people like, why are we giving this guy 5 ETH? Like he just let our project die. So like, how do you guys kind of manage that conversation and make it, position in a positive way?
Yeah, it's either you become a buyer or you are the seller, right? Because if you are the creator of the project, okay, you are the one putting the money inside the LP, your investors, but you are the owner. There's a single person who is the owner. So if you are not that guy, okay, you could be a buyer. And what you're doing, it's you don't need to think about you don't need to think in a way like you feel like you are giving that person money. You are giving money to someone who, I don't know, failed in a project, and you are giving a reward to that person. No, because what you're doing as a buyer, it's you're buying crypto with a discount. Okay, what is that discount? Whatever the seller is willing to give. If you need to wait 1 year, probably you're gonna get, I don't know, more than 50% discount in what you're buying. And if you're a holder and you don't mind waiting, you don't care what the price of Ethereum will be in a year. You're just buying Ethereum and you are holding Ethereum, right? If you're part of the community of that token, that's a different approach. That's a different thing, okay? One of the things that we do is to analyze. We have AI. We have a bot that work with that analyze everything around the LP that we are listing, and on top of that, we do some manual work, which is how we categorize each LP. Okay, one thing that can be like a topic of discussion is, okay, if you have this LP, okay, and you list that LP, everybody that is holding a token of that LP is going to sell right away because you are seeing a new, hey, the token I'm holding, the LP of that token is going to get sold, right? What we do, it's pure math, okay? So we calculate what is the size of the LP, okay? We do an audit of all the tokens that the owner of that LP is holding, and all those tokens gets transferred with the ownership of the LP to us. So we make sure that there is no way to dump that. And everything that is outside of that, everything that is outside our control, we are going to consider that as tokens that the community is holding. And we calculate what happens if every single person in the community is selling, what it's going to be the value of the LP, and that's the price that we take as a reference, okay? So it's you're gonna get what you're seeing on the listing or more, never less, okay? It's a bit tricky, but it's one of the things that we do to make sure we provide like safety and security tools in order to help you as a buyer to make the right choice and to see what's the best LP that you can buy. Another thing that we analyze is if there is an exploit on the smart contract of that project, okay, that it's like something that can lead to someone stealing the entire liquidity in the meantime, right? So those are the things that we check. So yeah, maybe I just took another path and I started to talk about security, but I think it's important as well. But
I
those
did
are
want
again,
to go back,
yeah,
JM, and just kind of go through like the difference between like the seller and the buyer aspect. So,
yeah.
when you're a buyer and you're looking to kind of identify how much you're going to secure within the pool's release, like how how far in advance is that number preset, or like how long is the auction open for? How long is the bid process open for?
Yeah.
Because like say for example, you and I are both looking to go through and crowd fund or buy a percentage, and me and you in this hypothetical are number one and two, right? So we get in super early. So like obviously more of the pie is available at number one and two. How do
Yes.
the numbers adjust over time as more people start to contribute? And like,
Hmm.
if you're one and two, like, do you have the ability to purchase more as like kind of that first mover in the
Yeah,
sense
I
that
get it.
like, and oftentimes first movers can secure more, get a benefit, a discount, whatever it may be, because they are kind of supporting at the earliest stage. I just want to find out how that works over time as more people get
Mhm.
involved in the process, and you're
Yeah.
looking to secure your piece of the pie.
Yes, of course. So right now for launch, um, everything is fixed on that matters. We are working on the functionality where we can make the price fluctuate and make the price is going to be defined differently. But right now, you are the seller. You are saying, I want 5 for this LP that it's worth 10. I want 5. We're going to list that for 5. Okay. And it doesn't matter if you are the first buy-in or the last one buy-in. Okay. You will be able to buy as much as you want. Okay. If from those 5, someone already took 3, there are 2 left. Okay. You cannot buy more than what it's available. So it's fixed. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. So like you guys are
Yeah.
essentially rocking with a fixed availability now. Um, would
Yeah,
there
we need
be
to
the
protect
ability if
both
you
sides.
guys
Yeah,
I was just
we
going to
need
say,
to.
would there be the ability to like extend it? Like if you guys got a phenomenal buy-in, for example, like you open up the bidding process and there's, just keeping it simple, 100 spots available. Just keep it at 100 because it's nice and easy math. Say there's 100 spots available and you guys right out the bat have 150 people trying to bid into that process. Would you maybe look to reevaluate and extend it to open it up further and maybe move the fixed rate back
Uh-huh.
to smaller percentages so that more people can get in? Or
Yeah,
is it by design? Like, are you looking to have that competition through the auction, through the bidding process? And if so, how do you, for lack of a better term, like outbid or out qualify somebody if all 150
yeah,
people are kind of coming in at the same time? Like, what
yeah,
I guess qualifies, buyer A versus buyer B if they're both
yeah.
looking to secure the same thing.
Yes. Right now, okay, again, it's fixed. Okay. So the first to hit the button and to hit buy is going to be the first to acquire that proportion of the LP. Okay. Right now, that's the way we want to launch. I mean, it's already there. It's not that we need to launch that, it's already live. Okay. We do have the functionality to make this more dynamic. Okay. So if you're the seller and you're asking for 5 and then stop that the market it's willing to pay 8, well, but I mean that was a bad pricing on your side as a seller, right? Once it's sold, you cannot change that because we own the ownership of the LP. But again, that is like the very first version that it's already live there. Okay, what we have and it's not on yet because again we want to make sure that everybody understand what we are doing. It's not a super simple concept. It could be in a way, but once we make sure that everybody understands the platform and how this works, we're going to start adding more and more functionality. Some of that functionality is already done and it's just off. We are going to turn that on in time. And some other we are working on it because we are constantly trying to see what other functionality we can add. But again, to your specific question, that it's already under development. It's almost done. We are testing that. But yes, because you are willing, I mean, you can optimize both sides. The seller will end up selling something for a higher price than what the seller was expecting. Okay, and the buyers, okay, you are not living, I mean, you're not like waiting outside because you were too late, or you were not fast enough to buy something that has a lot of value. Okay, so it's like an auction, right? It's, you start bidding and bidding, and until we reach the time, we reach the amount, and that is going to close the price of the LP. Okay, I'm not going to, I mean, I can't tell you exactly how it works because it's under development. It's under testing right now, but it's something that it's coming. And yes, it's going to add a lot of dynamism to the whole thing. Okay, that option to start. I mean, maybe you are a seller and you have no idea how much is worth your LP for selling, right? You know how much money it's in there, but you don't know how. I mean, what to ask for, and you just open the auction and just let the market to decide what's the price of that.
No, I love that. And yeah, like I did, going through the documentation and just your Twitter, I did notice that you guys mentioned in the future there may be more of like an auction style dynamic process, like you said, and that's really, that's a fun way to engage with communities, right? You can almost make them live events where, it goes live, and people could open up even a VC or a voice chat on Twitter or on the Telegram or something, and walk through kind of that process. So it's a cool way to engage with the community.
Yeah,
Or those
and
looking
we
to
did
kind of.
something on about that. Sorry to interrupt you, but
Oh no, go ahead. That's really
what
cool.
we
I want
did,
to hear
we
more.
did a fake launch of our token, and the intention was actually to launch something and make it fail. Okay, so we can grab that LP. It's our own LP, and we are selling that in our platform. So if you go to our platform right now, you will see that there is an LP there listed. It's our own LP, right? We did that to showcase how this works, right? Not only for buyers, but only for sellers, because we need to sell this to sellers, right? And of course, we are working with partnerships, and we have a couple of them that are just right there waiting for us to add them as available LPs. But again, this is not a meme coin. This is a serious project. So we want to make sure that the functionality, it's clear and everybody understand that. We only have one LP. That's the intention right now. We only have the fixed price model right now, again, because we want to educate and we want to showcase how this works. And then we can start unlocking and activating the rest of the functionality and the rest of the LPs. We are doing that. That's intentional. That's my point.
Smart. I mean, you gotta kind of roll things out in pieces. Otherwise, it's very tough for people to digest everything, because they'll get lost within the offering that you have, and I don't think you'll get the focus on any specific part. Like, I think the fact that you guys have a working product, as mentioned, and you wanted to utilize that test to kind of showcase that what you built works for its intended purpose is smart, and then you kind of build up once you have that kind of proof of concept, right? So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I'd rather slow and steady versus a lot of what we saw maybe in 2022, 2023, which kind of killed a lot of people's concept of utility in the space, which is like we're doing everything under the sun, and then maybe one very simplistic utility gets delivered and then the project's dead within a month, and you're like, oh, that didn't do what they said they were. So yeah, I'd prefer this approach. Build it up slow. Release things over time, make sure they work, live test them, get feedback, make improvements, tweak them to, give the best user experience, and then be able to apply the feedback that you get, from product A release to, the future releases too, because maybe you guys didn't think of some of those user features that people want to see. And then if you get that feedback early for the first product, you can tailor and add them into future releases, and then you're going to kind of, streamline the process for those products as well in the future as you release them. So yeah, no, like that makes sense. And then, like the community as well kind of feels like you guys are really implementing the feedback that they give you versus just rushing things out, all at once. So yeah, no, it's not a bad idea. Now, I did want to, maybe transition a little bit over to the token. We'll come back to the utility and the protocol maybe on the back half, but it's about
It's
25
my
minutes
next,
into
yeah,
the.
my next topic on my list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I just wanted to go through kind of the token because that's, how people are going to be able to buy in, right? And I wanted to go into, that's going to open up the discussion for staking and how people are going to be able to earn benefits over time as well as a holder. So yeah, just I think from a supply standpoint, 100 million Unrekt is what you guys are going to market with. The launch date from right now is July 1st.
yes.
Just looking at the tokenomics, it looked like there was a seed round, but
Mhm.
outside of that, it looks like it's going to be a fairly, open launch, fair launch, for lack of better terms. I think you guys would be adding a specific amount of ETH to the LP and then going live from there.
Yes.
But just, walk us through essentially how the seed round worked, what those individuals are going to get access to, if there's any vesting involved with that, how much of the supply they gained through that. And then,
Mhm.
walk us through what the launch process is going to look like on the first. And then, we'll go kind of deeper into the token, how it fits
Yes.
into the protocol later.
Yes, of course. Okay, so let me clarify about the seed round. The seed round was the two main investors of the seed round are the two founders of Pod AI, and actually part of our team. It's part of the team who developed the token. If you're not familiar with that, it's the probably the first token, the first AI token that created the bot for Telegram. Okay, it's the market cap for them was almost $1 billion. So part of this team, it's part of that team, and the two founders of that are the two main founders of this project. And the seed round was about 25 Ethereums, and we used that to put everything in, like to start spinning the wheels, right? To start moving the gears and to start building stuff. The vast majority of that is dedicated to marketing. You can actually, if you go into our documentation, everybody can do this. You will find our treasure wallets there, and you can see how we are spending the money and what we are doing with the money. Okay, right now, out of those 25, I believe 17 or 18 are dedicated to marketing, and marketing. The biggest part of that, it's between this week and next week, the week before the launch of the token and the week after. Okay, so right now you will see a lot of conversations like this, and next week there is going to be a lot of with the token live. There will be even more noise in the good way. So that it's the seed round. The seed round is that it's 10% of the total supply, and it's locked. Okay, so it's locked for a good period of time. So don't be worried about seeders and founders dropping or like selling everything first, because they can't, and secondly because they decide to go in at a way higher price than the launch price, because that tells you how committed to this project they are. Okay, so we are really happy with the seed round that we have. So talking about the token, okay, yes, the token is going to be launched on July the 1st. And what functionality does the token gives you? Okay, so for buyer and or selling LPs, you don't need the token. Okay, there's no need to have having the token if you have an LP and you want to sell it or you want to buy it. You can go now to our platform and you can buy the LP that is out there, and you don't need our token. Okay, so that's a good thing. We understand that it was needed to do that because you can see that there is a platform and a product working, and we are not asking you to buy our token to use it. Okay, and we believe that it's going to generate more adoption. The token, it's useful for a couple of things. You can stake the token and you get rewards, and you can have rewards for the LPs that we sell. So about the rewards on the staking, you grab your tokens, you stake your tokens in our platform, you have your APR, okay? So you are gonna get on the day of the unlock when you claim those extra tokens that you're farming, plus in Ethereum, okay, everything that it's coming out from the taxes of the trading. Okay, so it's not that you're only gonna get tokens. You're gonna get tokens plus Ethereum, okay, which is the rewards part of the trading. On top of that, when the LPs get
Just quickly, while you're on that topic, for the rewards, how is it paid out? Is there any cells that have to occur via the contract for those rewards to be then distributed to Ethereum and then put into the protocol for people to be able to withdraw against?
no, when you hit claim, when you are staking, when you hit claim that you are unstaking your tokens, the same wallet that is claiming that is gonna get everything. It's gonna get the tokens and it's gonna
Oh,
get
sorry.
the Ethereum.
Like I guess from like the contract side, like from the project side, like are you guys for there to be Ethereum for people to claim? Like does the contract have to via the taxes sell anything off to put like transition the money into the I guess the staking pool,
Oh
the
no,
rewards
no, no,
pool
no,
for
no,
that
no.
people to claim against,
It's
or
coming out. Yeah, it's coming out from the treasure wallets.
okay, cool. Awesome. I just wanted to clarify because sometimes like contracts auto sell and then transition the profits or whatever is secured from the sell, transition it
Yeah,
over to a pool for then people to be able to withdraw or claim against. So I just wanted
yeah.
to make sure we
Yeah,
clarified that
this
for
way
listeners.
the chart will look clean, and
And
it's going to be realistic.
that's exactly
Yeah,
it. You don't want to have like momentum killed, and then as you guys are hitting higher volumes because it's putting the amount percentage into that protocol. You don't
mhm,
want to have like cells coming off as momentum's occurring, and because people who don't understand how to recharge,
yeah,
there are people, and it sometimes causes, just a little bit of panic and uncertainty, like why that's happening, and then the discussion and the positivity created by those pumps kind of gets overshadowed by like the explanation of what is actually going on with the chart. So yeah, appreciate that. I did see Juan throw his hand up though, so if he wanted to maybe pop up and chat about anything, like obviously happy to have him up. But
mhm.
JM, you could kind of keep going. Sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to have that clarified
No,
while you're
no,
on topic.
that's perfect. That's perfect. So it's super simple. When the token gets traded, there is a tax, and that tax it's used for everything. A part of that is going to be, well, the tokenomics are there in our website. Part for marketing, a part for development, a part from this, from that. A part of that is going to be revenue share, that it's going automatically going to a separate wallet, okay, which is one of the one that I list in our documentation, treasury wallet. And when someone claims, the funds are withdrawn from that wallet. It's not affecting the chart. That's my point. Okay,
Awesome.
so yeah, yeah, that's the utility of the token right now. Then maybe in the future we can start adding more functionalities that we are thinking about. We are going to discuss this with the community, but maybe if you are a seller and you're holding the tokens, we can give you advertising in our website, because as the platform gets filled with LPs, we should have a way to promote the ones that we like or the ones that we want, or if someone is paying every single time, and this is going to be like this forever. If we collect money for something, part of that money will always be part of the revenue share. Okay, it's not that if we start doing advertising in our platform, we are gonna just grab that money for us. No, it's going to be part of the revenue share as well.
Perfect. I know I appreciate that. Now I did have I just have to make sure maybe I'll go back to you if there's anything else you wanted to go in through on the token. I just want to make sure I get my wording right on this question I wanted to ask. So I'll take maybe a minute or two to kind of formulate how I'm going to ask
Yeah.
the question. And then, but if you wanted to kind of continue to explain a little bit more about.
I can give you an advance of another features that we are developing.
Oh,
Or
sorry. Yeah,
also what I can tell you, what I can tell you
I
is that
figured
right now,
oh, go ahead.
right now we have almost $500,000 in liquidity pools ready to be added to our platform. So again, as I said before, we only have hours right now because we want to educate everybody with that one. But we have 3/4, and Some of them are in Ethereum, some others are in BNB. We support Binance Smart Chain, by the way. It's not on now. We are going to activate that after the token launch. So yeah, it's a pretty nice amount of money. So if we put more than $500,000 there available to be buy with an important discount, I think it speaks for itself. It's yeah.
So I kind of got my question formulated here. So I just wanted to make sure, like from a access standpoint, you guys are not token gating the utility in the sense that somebody doesn't have to hold or own Unrekt or have staked Unrekt to participate in that crowdfunding process, or process of taking control of the liquidity. Because like the way that it's going to work, the way you guys are going to likely grow adoption, honestly, probably through like the meme coin space, because those seem to be the highest turnover projects, right? And we hear so many times the term community takeover, CTO, just thrown around. So I think for you guys, that's a good opportunity, or a good fit in terms of where you guys are able to maybe showcase the value of the utility. But obviously, I've seen projects in the past make the mistake of needing people to hold their token to participate. And if you're one of those community members who wants to get into this liquidity crowdfunding, that's a pretty easy process, just to contribute ETH to that. But to go in to have to buy Unrekt, to then have to crowdfund, you're going to lose a lot of people in in that sales funnel, right? So I'm just wanting to make sure you guys aren't token gating, and walk us through how easy it is for somebody to participate in the process from the outside world if it's their first time hearing about Unrekt.
Yeah, 100%. And let me answer that in a super crystal clear way. Okay. We are never, ever going to ask for someone to hold our token to use our functionality. Okay. So what I said before is that maybe, and again, this is something that we are going to brainstorm with the community. It's we can create some extra value, right? If you hold it or not. But again, the core functionality, the core, the protocol itself, it's always going to work separately from the token itself. Okay, so you don't need to hold the token to use our platform. You don't need to hold the token to sell or to buy something. You don't need to do that now, and you will never gonna have to do that. And I agree with everything that you're saying, and it's basically the reason why we decided to do it like this. And that's why we have a platform right now working, a product working right now without having the token launch. So it's going to keep working like that forever. I think that was clear enough.
And I guess the second part I wanted to be curious about is like future expansions or future use case. Now, in the situation where maybe a narrative is quite strong, and it's just somebody taking advantage of a good narrative, launching a project with no intentions of really pushing it, and then, like you said, they kind of abandon it. How much involvement do they have to have? Like that's kind of like, because the biggest market for your product is going to be like the CTOs, right? Those community takeovers. Because yes, a lot of projects fail, but a lot of projects fail because people just kind of walk away. So do they have to be involved in the selling process? So like, are you guys going to have to be able to, because oftentimes they delete their usernames, channels get deleted. So I'm just trying to figure out how much involvement, or if there's the ability for this to be secured via the blockchain and taken over. That's like, for me, because you're going to potentially lose a big amount of your market if there needs to be sign off from those people who are genuinely just walking away, and like, you're never going to hear from them again on that same account. They're probably coming back.
No, the only thing that we need is the first contact with the owner of the LP. Okay. And that person is going to tell us, this is how much I want. Okay. This is my LP. This is how much I want. the moment that person transfers the ownership of the LP and everything we ask for to us, that's the moment when we enable the buying part in our platform. Okay. At that moment, if the seller wants to just go away and disappear and never talk to us ever again, it's okay, because the protocol is going to be like in charge of that. If by any reason, okay, that LP never gets sold, the protocol itself, and that it's inside the smart contract, everybody can see that, is going to refund all the buyers, because maybe, I don't know, 50% of the LP was sold and the other 50% never gets sold, and we need to refund the buyers because we are just, it's like holding the money of those guys, and we return the ownership of the LP to the original owner, and we don't need to have a contact with that person at all. So we only need one point of contact, which is at the very beginning when we get the ownership transferred to us. And then it's up to us.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. But like I guess the biggest gap that's going to exist potentially from, I guess, market or the potential or number of projects that you guys can secure is a lot of the times the people on the back end, those deployers, they'll disappear before most of the community knows that the project is going to fail, right? Like they're like, they'll dump their bag or whatever it is in the wee hours in the morning, and then they're gone, right? And by the time people are trying to recover, like they're probably not going to come back, right, to try and help people out when their intentions obviously from the start were just, disappear. So like that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is there, so like it's still somewhat dependent on that I guess contact with the deployer from the liquidity you guys are looking to secure.
Yeah, I believe the answer it's pretty much the same. There could be a lot of back and forth before we get that person transfer the ownership to us. Once they transfer the ownership to us, honestly, we don't care, because we don't need that. Okay, you are not you the seller, you are not the owner anymore. You are just waiting for us to give the funds once we were able to sell this. And of course, part of what we do as a research and all the audit that we take care of it, it's not only looking at the code, not only of the smart contract, not only looking at the market, but also looking at who is behind this, right? Maybe in the future, this is going to be, I don't know, it's going to be like a waterfall, and we are going to have hundreds and hundreds of LPs joining if we open the gates, and you will be able to find any kind of risky place there. But right now, we don't want to do that at the beginning. At the beginning, we are contacting them manually. We're making sure that the sellers understand what they are doing, and we make sure that both the LP is healthy and the owners, the current owners, are like someone. It's someone that is committed to this, and it's not someone like it's going to just go away. So let's see how this evolves in the future. Right now, we rather play safe than sorry. And then in the future, maybe that could change.
No, I like that. And I guess kind of another future-based question is, would you guys look to offer incentive to those who want to keep projects running and maybe like the same way almost like a validator works for like a node, in the sense that they're providing essentially the collateral, and then they're going to earn profits off of, volume, whatever it may be. I mean, each kind of situation is different. So I'm curious if for example, we'll use the 5 ETH as the number. If the selling price is 5 ETH, if one individual wanted to come forward and say, I could fund that, like, is there any way for one individual to take kind of control of that LP and then earn a small percentage or royalty or whatever, however you guys want to term it, over time for kind of solely funding or validating that contracts so that the narrative can keep going. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more narrative dependent. You're not going to, go after everything, but ones that could run, you might want to do that.
Yeah, when we started to brainstorm this, it turns out that there are like an endless amount of cases to analyze. This is one of them. I don't know, anything can happen. Imagine that you are buying an LP and out of the sudden, for any reason, I don't know, it recovers itself. So the LP is going to be higher than what you're buying. Okay, so that's like a good scenario for the buyer. What we make sure is that the LP is not going to go lower. There is no way to go lower than what we anticipate because of the math that we do and the LP and the tokens that we are getting. So that's how we keep buyers safe. But yeah, there's an endless amount of possible scenarios that whatever can happen to that token when you buy that LP. Someone told us the other day that maybe it could be a good idea to sell an LP for a higher price to what it's worth, because the reaction that it's going to generate in the community holding that token is that it's going to be like a more valuable in the future. So you try to bring that project back to life in that way. It's an option. I don't know. Again, the amount of scenarios, it's endless, right?
For sure. And there's another kind of, I guess, scenario that that came out of that for me, but we'll kind of maybe keep the future discussion a little bit positive, focused on what you guys are going to be doing to like try and onboard project. I know you mentioned about 500K worth of liquidity, but just what's the process like to onboard new projects? Is there benefits for individuals who are in the for example, if you're an Unrekt holder, but you know how the space works, you often are holding multiple projects. You're probably spreading your bag out across multiple plays, because that's probably the smart way. I mean, that's what we say. It's, you can't just hold one project and put all your eggs in one basket. You really have to diversify if you're going to have success in the space. If somebody's part of the community, part of the project that fails, and they bring it to Unrekt, what's the benefit for them? Like, how are you guys going to slowly build yourself ambassadors or like a sales funnel to keep that protocol and that amount of liquidity coming in strong?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and actually something that I forgot to mention before. So right now it's mainly partnerships and we contacting like the core developers of those projects. You don't need to be a holder of our token. If you reference an LP to us, a project to us, okay, and we list that, there is a reward in cash in stablecoin, okay. And if the value, the score that we put on that LP, it's high, okay, it's like we use like a percentage. If it's like a 95% safe and it's a really good score, we pay you even more money, right? So we don't have the numbers right now, but we are like thinking of maybe $100 if you bring an LP and we decide to list that, and another 100, 150 if the score of that LP it's interesting. So that way we can incentivize people. Who is not part of the of a project that failed? Like pretty much everybody in this call and in this space, and it's not only one, maybe in several projects. So maybe if you just talk to those projects in those Telegram chats and to that community, saying, hey, we know that this project died. We want to. There is an option to recover the liquidity. We can use the Unrekt guys, and you bring that to us, and we list that. You took the job to do that. You took the job to be our ambassador, right? And we have to pay for you for that, because you're dedicating your time, and time is money. So yeah. That's the way to spread this with the community. And then, of course, we have our connections with partnerships and contacting developers.
No, that's good. And again, I think, one thing we've pushed here at our community for 3 years is get more involved, right? Like there's so many opportunities in this space where, not everything has to be dependent on chart movement, right? Like if you, like with what you guys are offering via that opportunity for people, if you're very active in the space and a lot of projects that maybe have good narratives, but then were maybe, being launched by the wrong type of people, those are great opportunities to bring into the Unrekt protocol and try and, put through that crowdfunding or bidding process. So, I think it's something that a lot of projects have success. I mean, we talk about MLM or, multi-level marketing and the way that community or incentives are very, very successful to push, to bigger extents or larger audiences. I think, yeah, it's smart. And just because how people are in the space, most people are already going to probably have in your community when they come in and really understand what this is about. I bet you all of your community members had one project or two projects that they were in come to mind. And you guys, like that's probably why that number you mentioned earlier around that 500K mark is where it is, because it's something, like I said, everybody has an example that they could point to and say, this happened to me, somebody left, it was we were on a good run and all of a sudden it died out. Wish it could have kept going. Like, well, this opens the door now potentially. So yeah, you guys would definitely have a lot of, I think, help from that standpoint. So a good incentive for sure.
Yeah, and even if this feels like it's more intended to project that fails, because honestly, it's the biggest portion of the market. Honestly, it could work. I mean, it actually works with projects that are not dead. Okay, so maybe it's a way. Imagine that you are the owner of a project, and that project it's doing pretty well, right? But I don't know, you want to cash out, you want to retire or whatever, and you don't want to rock your own project. You can do this. You can sell the LP. Okay, the chart is not going to be affected. The LP is not going to be affected because it's going to stay there, and you get the money, right? And you are actually, what you're doing is transferring the ownership of the project to someone else. So it's not only, of course, we need to just add a twist to the product itself. It's not a big deal, but it's another option, right? Honestly, we are even thinking how we can extrapolate this to NFTs. I mean, there are no boundaries, right? When we sit down and start brainstorming. So we're really happy with that, because there are not a lot of walls that are impeding us to say, okay, this is the limit. You cannot evolve this anymore.
Thing I was thinking, JM, is I'm sure a lot of people are asking, well, why doesn't Unrekt potentially get into the business of buying some of these LPs and using those, longer term gains to kind of add additional funds into your treasury for staking rewards, right? I mean, because of the way the blockchain works, if you guys could build up an algorithm or a program to identify LPs that were unlocking within, 1 to 2 months, then you're not having to wait that, extra 10, like with the yearly example that's been given so many times, in the documentation and whatnot, right? So with the way that you can send messages via the blockchain to contract deployers and stuff, again, I know it's a little bit more of a deep dive of a process, but if you guys could kind of draft or put together an algorithm that identifies, lower hanging fruit, from a sales funnel perspective of these LPs that are closer to unlock, and then turn that bid into, maybe profits, even if it's at the 10-15% rate, over time, that's going to add up quite substantially. So yeah, just kind of curious if that's an avenue, even as a project or a protocol, you guys were looking to secure additional funding or raise additional funds via your own utility and, participating in that process.
Yeah. Let me tell you. I don't know if that question is coming from you or someone else, but let me tell you that whoever is making that question is a really smart person. Why? Because we are actually doing now, and we are doing that right now. We are doing it manually, okay? And the other day we were thinking like we can automate this. We can do something that it's gonna do this for us. But yes, we are doing this manually, and the main reason is because that's the genesis of the project. The genesis of from where it's the Unrekt Protocol idea coming comes from one person who had something locked in liquidity and sold that at a 40% discount to a friend. Okay, that was the genesis. That was the very first time that we thought about this, and we said, hey, maybe we can do this like massively. And the second thing that came to our minds was like, okay, we can collect like in time progressively. We can increase like our funds just buying liquidities. If we don't mind waiting, we just buy lock liquidity and we just farm money, right? And then the third stage of that idea is what you have right now, which is the platform that we created. So it's like I'll tell you, we use this ourselves. We use this, right? So that's why we know it's working and it's gonna work because we are actually doing this. We've been doing this for a while.
That was just something that I thought you guys may be able to leverage. Obviously, from a timing perspective, the community more like the way you can position the product or the protocol to users or the community would be more of a passive income product, over long term. But for you as a project, buying in or securing liquidity that's 10 months out, that doesn't make the most sense when you're talking funding, because everybody's always asking one of the most common questions on any space, any AMA, for any utility project is how do you bring money in? How do you generate revenue, right? Well, if you guys have the ability to identify opportunities that are a little bit closer, and then leveraging the protocol and the blockchain and the messaging tech, the fact that you can message the deployer, I mean, you're not maybe going to get a hit on every one, but you may get the odd response. And if you can leverage that, even 5, 10, 15% gain, I think anybody who comes from traditional finance, like if you get a 10% return on your thing over a year, that's good. So if you add that up, like if you start adding in the multiplier effect, even on smaller, on a smaller scale, you're going to get a good return over time, right? So yeah, I think that could be a really good way to bring in additional funding and secure, maybe some, kind of just streamline what you guys are building and, be able to release more quickly or add updates quicker and just, give more benefits, more returns into that staking protocol for people, maybe bolster the treasury wallet. However, the funds are going to be leveraged once they're secured is obviously, project determined, but it's definitely an opportunity you guys have with your protocol to just generate revenue. And that's kind of the $1 million question for any utility project is how do you kind of generate funds if volume is not there? And utility plays haven't really been getting the volume over the last couple of months. It's been all these like go to base chain and buy some stupid meme that's going to be dead in a week, right? Like that's kind of what it's been for the last couple of months. So this for you a way that's non-volume dependent to maybe generate revenue. So it's cool. It'll be interesting to see how that helps over time.
Yeah, and since there is a way, because the particular part of Solana is that you can launch stuff without having to lock liquidity, but now that exists. So some projects in Solana are being launched with locked liquidity. And you know how Solana in the last couple of months, it's been crazy. Like it's overwhelming the amount of things that gets listed every single day in Solana. And we are going to support Solana in a couple of weeks. We already have BNB done, and we are finishing Solana support.
Yeah, no, and I mean Solana as a even an alt has been kind of taking a beating. I don't know if you've been checking the chart the last little while, but it's been on a tough retrace the last little bit too. So
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah.
that'll be good to see that you guys can expand. So I guess that does actually open up another good question: is how many chains right now are you guys currently set up to secure and support the liquidity takeover for?
Currently, we have Ethereum. Right after we launch the token, let's say in a week, we are going to enable Binance Smart Chain, and after that, Solana. That's for now. Then we are going to regroup and analyze what can be if we go for base, if we go, I don't know, it could be anything, right? But right now, that's the roadmap. Those three.
So, no, that's good. Like I said, starting with the chain you're going to be native to makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, once Solana happens, that seems like the highest rate of CTOs. I don't know if anybody sees otherwise, but for me, it's crazy. It's like 3 out of 5 projects are a CTO that launch on Solana within 2 days. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be that's a like a very high pool of candidates, for the liquidity takeovers there. So yeah, no, that's good. Once that gets kind of integrated in, and we touched on chains, we touched a little bit on staking, ambassadorships. I'm just kind of going through my mental checklist here of some of the points I wanted to make sure we covered off, but the protocol and the community involvement. Now, we are pre-launch, and as I mentioned, we don't do a lot of stuff pre-launch. So a big thing for me is involvement and like how you guys are going to really incentivize and leverage your community to help ensure that the token itself has a smooth launch on July 1st. So what are the things you guys are doing between now and July 1st to really help grow the community, and maybe any ways that people within your community can get more active to not only benefit themselves, but also benefit the ultimate success, hopefully of Unrekt once it goes live on the 1st of July?
Yeah. So mainly, the let's say the first week after the launch, we are going to spend, I believe it's around 60K in marketing, which is a pretty nice amount of money to move things, all right, to make some noise out there, which we know and we understand that the charge, it's like it's God. The charge is everything, right? But again, this is not a meme coin. So if you ask me, I rather had uh, like a more organic growth in the chart versus having a pump and dump like every single meme coin out there. So what we are going to do is to spend that money in a wise way, let's say, to make sure that the conversion is real, right? And we are just spending that money in high quality marketing. Okay, so that is mostly for the token itself and how it moves and how we make some noise out there. Then what we are going to do is, once we are able to create that snowball effect, that we collect fees and we can start spending more and more money in marketing. What we are doing, actually, we are going to do this in parallel from the get-go, but we are going to maybe invest more money and time into having more high-quality liquidity pools, right? So maybe this is redundant in a way, because you don't need the token to buy the LP. But if we are adding high quality LPs, okay, you're going to say, okay, the tool, the functionality, the protocol, it's pretty cool. And that is going to increase the value of the token indirectly, right? Because it's a good thing, right? It's a good project. It's a good product. So even though you don't need a token for that, you know that this token belongs to that project, right? So you're gonna be willing, and you're gonna be generating that word of mouth of hey, Unrekt Protocol, it's pretty nice, and there is a token, and you're gonna want to buy that token. So it's like it's a feedback that it's giving the token to a platform, the platform to the token. Okay, both things. If both things are healthy, it's going to generate that snowball effect that we are looking for.
Awesome. So from my end, I know we have you guys penciled in for this Thursday, 5 p.m. UTC on our CoinMerge utility showcase. So that would be awesome to kind of get you guys that cross exposure built. It's myself, 3 or 4 other keynotes, a couple of other projects. So it'll be really fun to have you guys in there and explain, how people can leverage the protocol. So from a partnership perspective too, because I know obviously it makes sense that you guys partnered with Pal AI pretty early on. The other partnership I saw you guys announced early, I think it was your third tweet out, was Dext.io. What do you guys look for when you're securing a partnership? What's like the mutual benefit you need? Is there any type of communities out there you're looking for right now? Any type of support or any maybe cross utility that they provide that maybe you guys are looking to have in your ecosystem, but it's more cost effective to leverage a partner versus build out yourself?
Look, right now, I'm gonna be like super honest with you. The answer to that is exposure, right? Because even though we know that our product is good, we love it, and we are going to keep investing on this for a very long time. Right now, we are launching, so we want exposure, right? That initial exposure that it's going to help us to make this massive, and then we can start thinking more about another kind of. We can start investing our time in different things, right? But right now, yes, it's exposure. That's what we want for the launch. So if we are talking about partnerships, and what I'm saying exposure, it's not that we are going to be considering a partnership that is going to be giving us only that. If we get a partnership that what it's giving us, it's a good LP to list, okay, that is a good exposure as well, because that is going to be on the community of that partnership person or team or corporation or whatever you want to call it, and that works as well. Okay, it's not just KOLs marketing partnerships, right? It's all kind of partnerships, good projects, good LPs, good KOLs, a little bit of everything.
No, for me, I think, again, exposure is always the number one tool, because what I said earlier on, I think holds true with you guys. Everybody, once they understand, it may take, because you're not just a meme, it may take, a little bit more time for people to understand the protocol and how they can get involved. But I think once people get what it is, everyone has an experience or a story or a project or a token that they were in that kind of just died off unexpectedly. And yeah, if they were able to secure, even if they were able to break even or get 10, 20, 30% of their loss back, if they held, right? Some people hold tokens for 6 months and then just dies, and, they're left with nothing after that much support. So I think, again, there's an opportunity or a story everybody has that can connect with this. And yeah, exposure and kind of awareness are probably the two biggest things you guys need right now. Mm-hmm. So, I think for me, my call to action for our community is just, jump into the Unrekt Telegram channel, give them a follow on their Twitter. They're still very organic and throwing that Twitter out. I think for you guys, a big Twitter push will be good. If you could start to get the 1, 2, 3K follower accounts, it'll be really helpful just in terms of awareness. And then once people kind of, again, like I said, everybody will be able to have a story to connect to you. And then it's just getting them to understand how they can participate, what the onboarding looks like, and the fact that there's no token gating. You guys are definitely kind of simplifying the process to work with you and participate, but it's all about just getting your name and your brand out there. So I think it's I hope that space on Thursday and stuff too.
That sounds amazing. Honestly, it sounds great. Anyone who joined our Telegram, you will see that it's not only one person there, we are many on the team. So, and we keep everything super clear, I mean, the level of transparency that we manage there, you can go through the pin messages, and we are like more than clear and transparent with everything we do and everything we communicate. So we believe that is super important. So because you kind of know who you are like working with, who you are trusting, and there's always someone online there. If it's not me, it's William, it's Juan, it's the master on Unrekt, who is pretty much the owner of everything. We are like 4 or 5 person there that it's always available to answer any question. So you're not gonna see like a Telegram group full of bots or anything like that. It's like all real people, and yeah, it's a really nice place to be. And of course, if you want to be on top of everything will be like announced there. July 1st again is the token launch, and we're going to update everyone there. We are going to announce when we are launching the token there. It's going to be for launch. So yeah, join and stay tuned.
No, I'm really impressed. Like the more I dug into the protocol, like what you guys are looking to do, there's definitely a lot of opportunity, and it's going to be all about kind of buy-in. And I mean, some of those incentives that you mentioned, ambassadorship programs, partnerships, like those types of tools are going to be very helpful for you guys in the early stages to kind of, speed up your adoption and leverage some of your team's experience within the space, through Pal AI and whatnot. So yeah, really interesting stuff. Again, definitely impressed with what you guys are looking to do. And if it's positioned well and you guys can get kind of that support, which it seems like you have so far, mentioning that 500K, secured liquidity, pre-launch is, very impressive. I'm excited to see what it looks like. So the only other thing I don't think we touched on the distribution a little bit and some of the supply, seed round and lock periods and whatnot with the token. We didn't actually touch on the starting cap. So like, where are you guys going to be launching at around? I know, ETH can fluctuate a little bit between now and then, a week out. But, ballpark it for us if you could, JM, where you guys are expecting to be launching at from a market cap standpoint. And yeah, I think that's the only other thing we did cover. I know everybody likes to know market cap, so that's one thing I would have been kicking myself if I didn't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not gonna be a small market cap. I don't have the number right now, honestly. There is a base. We are not going to launch with less than, well, I can think about this in money, not in Ethereum, but we are going to put at a minimum 5 Ethereum. It's not going to be 5 Ethereum. It's not a lot. But that's the number that I have in my head right now. I believe it's more it's closer to 10 than to 5. Let's say that is going to be the initial market cap. It's going to, sorry, I'm talking about liquidity, not market cap. So we are going to put that liquidity. Okay. So the LP is going to have 10 Ethereum. Okay. Between 5 and 10 Ethereum. Okay. The market cap, I don't have the number. I have no idea. But let me give you an example. Okay. When we launched the fake token to make it fail, right, and to list our own LP, there is a small portion of people there that it's holding those quote unquote B1 tokens, and we are of course going to give them the new tokens, okay, which is people that it's really happy that they were able to do that at that moment. And we reached like super fast $1 million in market cap, and it was with 200 people on the Telegram. Right now we are close to 800 people on the Telegram, so it's gonna be way better than that. And oh, by the way, Juan is telling me that the initial market cap is going to be $160,000. Okay, thank you, Juan. I was not aware of that. So yeah, that's the market cap. You get your answer.
Love it. Thanks so much, Juan, for the support there on the back end. Yeah, it's relatively low considering like the fact that DApp is live and you guys are have
Yeah.
some good connections within the space, some pretty impressive initial
Okay.
kind of seed founders supporting you. So yeah, I'm curious to see how you guys are able to continuously build up the community ahead of launch. I think you're kind of close to pushing that 1K mark on Telegram, about just under 500 followers on Twitter. So again, I know community building is a really big aspect for any pre-launch stage, and I'm just excited to see this time next week, because it is officially a week from from your launch date next Monday on July
Yeah.
1st. I'm excited to see this time next week what the community numbers look like and what the excitement is like in the VC.
Yes, of
And if you
course.
guys were looking for some support, or if you guys are going to be running a VC on launch, I'm trying to get more active and kind of pop into VCs for
Uh-huh.
projects that we host for AMAs on their channel. So I used to do it a ton, haven't been doing it as much the last 6 months. So I've been a bit preoccupied, but yeah, if you guys are doing a VC for launch, let me know. I'll pop in. Would love to kind of see what the vibe is like in your own community around the official launch day. And yeah, no,
Yeah,
couple
sure.
of,
Something like that comes to my mind right now, and this is like a kind of an advice to everybody out there, and it's not only related to our project, but what I sense is that everybody only take a look or pay attention to the market cap of projects, and in general, you should take a look at the market cap and the liquidity. Both things are super important, because if the liquidity is low, the market cap can be billions, right? But a single person sell and it goes to zero. So in general, pay attention to both things. What is the market cap and what is the liquidity, right? If the liquidity is high, the market cap is not going to be affected by someone selling or buying. If the liquidity is low, it can go to zero like real quick, like with a big sell. So this is not something I'm telling you. You already know this, but this is in general, right? Because I always hear people saying like, "Oh, the market cap, the market cap." Well, sometimes the market cap means nothing, right? If there is no liquidity. So yeah, something that I always mention. I don't know why.
I appreciate that, and it's definitely important to note. From we covered, let's just say I'm going to go through my mental we went through. I think we went through kind of everything I had
Yeah, I
laid
think
out
so.
ahead of the conversation. I mentioned when we had our call last Friday, didn't want to rush through the AMA. It's not capped on an hour. I think we're an hour and a half now on timing. So yeah, I'll just kind of throw to you again. If we missed anything, Juan, if you think we missed anything, let JM
No.
know. Or this is where I kind of give you guys the time for a final call to action. Anything you'd like out of our community in the next week, leading up to launch, or even after launch, once you guys, as a token, once Unrekt hits the ETH chain and then you guys are live as a token, what people can do to support you. I'll kind of throw you the mic second, but from my end here, I'll just take this time to close out by saying, again, everybody who did tune in live, I really did enjoy the conversation we had. I know I've been a bit unavailable here throughout the last couple of weeks. I've just been kind of sorting through some personal stuff, but the projects we've been lucky enough to host have been really working hard, and I've been seeing some good feedback, some really positive things coming out of those communities. So again, just really thankful to you, Jam, for coming by. Again, Thursday, 5 p.m. UTC. I'll see you guys on our space utility showcase with our partners there at CoinMerge. It's really cool. We just reformatted the space. So it used to be shorter time slots. Now it's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes each project. A little bit more detail because, again, utility projects were tough to break down in 3 to 5 minutes. So a little bit more time per project. And again, really good cross exposure, some other solid names there. So yeah, excited to see what that will do for you guys, but just impressed with the protocol, impressed with the way you guys have, responded to some of the questions. You had some good answers, and, just for anybody listening, the nothing is preset here on any of our AMAs. Everything is spontaneous. The discussion, the way it's responded to is all, again, just kind of spur the moment. So I think you did a great job, JM, representing on behalf of Unrekt. So yeah, great job, to you. Shout out to you on as a speaker. I know it's no easy job being up here, especially for 90 minutes, especially unscripted. So yeah, great job. Juan, William, again, I really appreciate you guys being, very supportive of me throughout, just understanding that, my timing hasn't been great. And I'm excited to see what launch looks like next Monday, July 1st. It is a holiday, Canada Day out here. So I'll spend some time in there, probably have a beer in my hand for that VC launch you guys are rocking. But yeah, I can't wait. We'll see you next week. And then Thursday in the interim, our YouTube link will go live typically 24 hours. I'll say 48 just as a safety net. So by Wednesday, the YouTube recording of the AM will be up. So anybody from your community who's new, especially as you guys are really pushing those new joins, that excitement ahead of launch, it'll be easy to find on our YouTube channel. So anybody can read or go in, listen back. Really enjoyed hosting you. Again, do your research, guys. Join their community. Launch is going to be next Monday on Ethereum. As mentioned, around 160K is going to be their starting cap. They already have secured about 500K in liquidity, which, yeah, those numbers are nice. So, but a 3-to-1 ratio already right there. So, JM, I'll pass you the mic to close out. Just one last time, great job. Really a pleasure getting this, extra time with you on the mic. And, yeah, send us home.
All right. So first of all, thank you for having us. We are super excited to get this launch. We recommend everybody to join our Telegram channel. Again, we are crystal clear there. You can ask anything. You will find yourself being part of an amazing community. And we are always on, to answer any doubt, any question. We can brainstorm things there. We do a lot of fun things there, and every single day something new is happening. So we recommend to go there, to stay tuned. We are going to announce everything relating the launch of the token there, which is once again is going to be on July 1st. And I think that's it. Thank you for letting us to spend more time here, more than an hour here, and to give us the time to explain what we are trying to do, who we are, our mental philosophy, and what we want to do. So yeah, I will close with this. Thank you everybody who took the time to join the call, and we are waiting for you on our Telegram channel. So please join, and thank you everybody.
Good job, JM. And again, thank you so much, Juan, for some of that support in the back end, with some of those answers. I know he had to jump off, but, I love the work he's been doing behind the scenes on this. He's very much, the brains behind the scenes from the coding perspective. And Juan was the one who worked with Pal AI to really help them get set up. You can see his signature, on the blockchain and their scripting. So, yeah, again, JM, really good stuff. I'm excited for Thursday. Funk, I think, should like this one. I know he's had some holds that have kind of disappeared on him over the years. And yeah, it's a good protocol, being able to kind of, get something out of nothing is a nice mentality. And like I said, it's a numbers game. If you're active in the space and you're kind of getting burned a lot, if you can, have this support and you're able to get back a little bit every single time, it's never a bad thing. So again, it's going to take some time for adoption to hit. There is that reliance somewhat on that contact there with the deployer. So, if people are able to identify early and really support, I think again, that comes down to more community support and, outlining what's needed from the team here at Unrekt when people are bringing projects or bringing opportunities to them. If people are coming prepared with the contact, with everything, it's going to be really beneficial to the protocol. So just things to keep in mind. If you are somebody out there looking to benefit from some of those perks let's just call it that JM mentioned, with regards to, onboarding new projects or new liquidity opportunities. The more that you guys can provide as a support beacon to the project, the quicker they'll be able to onboard, the quicker that you guys will eventually end up getting that benefit too. So yeah, just things to keep in mind. JM, it was an absolute pleasure. Until next time, which is Thursday, 5 p.m., I will see you on our space with CoinMerge. And yeah, launch July 1st, next Monday. I'll see you guys there. I'll make sure, we'll be in touch in our group and DMs between now and then. Again, this weekend was just a little bit crazy for me. I didn't even touch Telegram for 48 hours, which is almost my record. So yeah, we'll be in touch this week, and yeah, looking forward to next Monday.
All right. See you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye now.
Thanks so much.